The Franny B is shipped out to Barton upon Humber, where restorers Rob Carter and Brian Gould have their workshop. They come highly recommended by Derek, years of expertise, and Rob is a regular volunteer on auction days.
Yeah, Derek 5'3". Live, breathe cars and bikes. We're not really into modern stuff because it's too electronically sophisticated. I like the old ones. I like to sort of think we're doing a bit to keep yesterday alive, really.
Brian is also a biker to the core.
You are free, that is it. Unlike in a car, you can hear the engines, you know, whether it's a big one, a twin, you know, single cylinder, just get the buzz.
Between them, they've restored over 70 motorbikes, but the Plover is their first Francis-Barnett.
What condition's the bike in?
Good. Good, it looks straight. I made sure there's no twisting in the frame. The wheels are sat perfectly parallel, which is great. It doesn't ever appear to have any accident damage. There's no rot. It's lovely smooth paint. It's got an exhaust on, which doesn't blow out the back. It blows out of a slot at the side, which I think they were the only ones that used that sort of system. And I don't think you could buy one of those now. We'll give that a polish, and if it's acceptable, it's acceptable. If not, that will go for chroming. Everything which is painted, we will bare metal and get repainted.
And in terms of the engine then, what are we thinking?
Yeah, we've turned the kickstart over and there is good compression.
It has every chance of running. The controls all working.
Yeah.
So we want to give it a try first and then we'll know better.
We're going for a full restoration. There's no, we're doing it properly. That will make an absolute cracking bike when it's restored. I'm sure it will.
Preparations to resuscitate the Francis-Barnett Plover are underway, with some ER-style equipment.
This is the intravenous bottle.
Doctors Rob and Brian have prescribed some fresh two-stroke, mainlined into the carburettor.
Get it in there, yeah? You don't need a great deal. This is how we feed out that bottle. Go on then, mate, see if we can go for starting. Right. There's hope, isn't there? There's hope. Rev up, mate. That's it. There you go.
Success. A quick check of the gearbox, and that's probably told them all they need to know.
There we are. And that will stop it like that.
The last few days have all been about preparation for paint. Brian has been removing decades of what professionals call crud from the metalwork.
It will come off, it's just a case of keep at it.
And Rob has been hard at work too.
I've sanded away at the frame, wet flatted it off and everything as smooth as we can. It's 50 years old, it's seen a life, hasn't it?
This was followed by 4 coats of primer and some more fastidious sanding. Only when it passes his own rigorous quality control.
I know I'm being a bit, nitpicky.
Will it be ready for its respray?
There's a few little bits of welding splatter. I've deliberately left it. We're trying to make it look like it did 50-odd years ago, not like a customiser's got it. The colour we're doing it, we've had it matched to an original panel off the bike. It's called Arden Green.
The extraordinary thing about this is that Rob will be using a spray can rather than thousands of pounds of professional equipment.
It's not that easy. Don't think that the average man in the street is going to get hold of a rattle can, an aerosol, and produce the finish that Rob can produce with it.
We'll do like the underneath bits first. Any like nooks and crannies.
He's a bit of an artist. I mean, we think he could be Banksy.
The first coat is like a really light mist coat. We're just letting the colour bond onto the primer coat. Second coat, it should all be visibly green. And then third coat, it should have a nice finish to it.
Meanwhile, just around the corner at Platinum Bodyworks, the more fiddly bits are being prepped for painting. Russ Heath is an expert in masking, an art form all of its own.
This is the tank. There's 2 colours on it. Always got a reference photo. We've painted the first colour on, and we're actually using a special fine line tape to mask off the cream area so we can paint the green, peel the masking out and then clear coat everything in.
And this is where the time goes?
And this is where a lot of the time goes.
About 6 hours of it, in fact, just for the tank.
It's all painted green. We've got the chrome back, which is absolutely superb. We've put the handlebars back on, absolutely superb chroming. All the wheels are all refurbed. Originally, we thought the rims would need chroming, but Bryce downloaded some images off the internet, and at this particular period, when it was coming to the end, this model never did have chrome rims when it was new.
The reason is, when this bike was built, Francis-Barnett was going bust. It was a money-saving exercise.
We're going to do rear wheel first.
The back wheel slides into the swinging arm here. So Rob's just popping on the securing nuts. Then we're going to add a shock absorber, and that will hold the wheel up. That will be green when it's finished. And that's primer.
That's it.
Looks like a bike.
The engine has been checked and cleaned. It was already in good order.
Tell you what, just wind her up about another inch, Bry. That's it. Ow, hang on, my hand's in it. That's it. There we go. She's in.
The chain is refitted. And now it's time for something Rob's been working on for a while, the carburettor.
There it is, look. It was ever so dull, and I've just buffed it up a little bit.
If the engine is like a heart, then the carburettor is the pacemaker.
I've cleaned all the jets, so it looks a lot better than it did.
Oh, I can tell you're proud of that, Rob.
Yeah, I am. I'm proud of this, yeah.
You all right?
Yeah, we're going. We're looking good, mate.
Over the next few days, the electrics will be wired back up, and the fuel tank and exhaust will go on. Then, Rob and Brian will put the theory into practice and attempt an engine start. We're into the final throes of our Francis-Barnett Plover restoration.
We've got back mudguard, back light to wire up, side panels on, seat on. You got him, Bray.
Do you want me to?
After the precision masking and spraying of the fuel tank, it's now returned and is ready to be fitted.
That's it. That's it.
There we go.
Got it. We're in place here.
We're in place here.
Other accessories can now be wired up.
Oh, that's a result. You've got to have a tutor that's going to work, haven't you?
The reproduction horn was only available online, so it had to be ordered by the head of IT.
I've used the internet, whereas Rob's not that's his thing.
He's not heard of that.
Well, he can manage to do an email, like, you know.
He is, however, an expert in anything analogue.
We've got to sort of roll it round because the mudguard's tapered.
Many of the nuts and bolts are new,
Let's get this one in.
but it's nowhere near as simple as that.
That's it. The metric nuts and bolts, but they'll go through the same size hole without drilling out or altering it that the Imperial ones went through.
So they would have been Imperial, but these are metric that look like Imperial.
That's right.
As the last parts go on, the two-stroke intravenous drip makes a reappearance. It can only mean one thing.
So it's the big moment.
It is really, yeah. Yeah.
It's the landing on the moon.
Yeah. Not as drastic as that, but it's our equivalent of, innit?
One small spark for man.
Yeah, yeah. Right, so we've turned it on, fuel's come down the pipe, and then we're just going to tickle it up till fuel starts to come out of here. That's it.
That wasn't bad, was it?
After a successful launch and the Francis-Barnett firing on all of its one cylinder, it's a fitting reward for over 100 hours of labour. That said, this might not have been the best place to test it.
20 mile an hour that's doing, speedo's working.
Sorry, Rob, I can't see you.
So can we turn it off?
Yeah, try the kill button.
Kill button. Best not to do too many miles in your garage.
Yeah.
Pleased with that.
The reupholstered seat goes on.
That goes behind the frame, Bray.
And apart from some minor tweaking, the Francis-Barnett is ready for the auction.
Absolutely delighted, yeah.
Yeah, I think it looks well.
When we first did it, like Bryce said, it just looked like you dipped it in a vat of green. There was too much green, but now we've got tank on with ivory on and nice red badges, red taxes, number plates and that. It's just broken it up and I think it looks lovely. If anybody wants like a lightweight British two-stroke and they're not up to doing it themselves or they don't want to do it themselves, I'm sure they could buy that, put some fuel in and set off.